I need to share something heavy with you. It has been sitting on my chest for so long that some days it feels hard to breathe. I've replayed this conversation in my mind 100 times. Imagined your reaction. Imagined the silence that might follow. Imagined the relief of finally being honest. And still, I'm scared. Scared that my words will sound irrational. Scared that you'll think I've lost my mind. But if there is one person in this world who deserves my unfiltered truth, it's you. I've been standing at a crossroads, and the decision before me is tearing me apart in ways I didn't know were possible. It's not a simple choice between right and wrong. It's a choice between obligation and authenticity, between the life I thought I was supposed to live and the life my heart has quietly been calling me toward all along. No matter which path I take, someone gets hurt, and that reality has been crushing me. I never imagined I would find myself here. I always believed life would unfold in a clear, orderly way, that love would make sense, that commitment would feel steady and certain. But instead, I'm caught in an emotional storm. I feel torn between the commitment I made to one path and the undeniable pull of another. And that another has always been you. The fear of being seen as a heartbreaker is almost unbearable. I hate the thought of being the person who shatters someone's trust, who disrupts plans, who causes tears and confusion. That's never who I wanted to be. I don't want to be the villain in someone else's story. I don't want to carry the label of someone who couldn't keep their word. And beyond that, there's a deeper fear, the fear of divine judgment. I find myself wondering if God will look at my choice and see betrayal instead of truth. I question whether forgiveness will still be within reach, or whether I'll have to carry this weight alone. But please understand this. My intention is not to hurt anyone. This decision isn't rooted in selfishness or carelessness. It comes from a place of deep internal struggle. I've spent nights awake, staring at the ceiling, asking myself the same questions over and over. Am I being foolish? Am I romanticizing something that only exists in memory? Or am I finally facing the truth I've been avoiding? You deserve to know what's happening inside me. You deserve transparency, not fragments and half-truths. I know you must be wondering what's really going on, why I sound so conflicted, why I seem distant at times, why there's an undercurrent of sadness in my voice. I promise I will explain everything. But first, I need you to understand that I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm not looking for you to rescue me or to tell me what to do. What I truly hope for is understanding. It feels like I'm standing in the middle of a storm, winds pulling me in opposite directions. One path leads to stability, predictability, and a life that makes sense on paper. The other leads to uncertainty, risk, and the possibility of rebuilding everything from scratch. One promises peace of mind, the other promises peace of heart. And I've come to realize that those two things are not always the same. Do you remember when I chose someone else over you? When I convinced myself that moving forward with her was the mature, responsible choice. My family wasn't happy. They sensed something I refused to acknowledge. They saw the hesitation in me, the lack of true enthusiasm. But I was stubborn. I told myself love would grow. I told myself that compatibility was enough, that passion and depth were luxuries, not necessities. Deep down, though, I knew. There was always a quiet voice inside me whispering that something was missing. I ignored it. I drowned it out with logic, with plans, with the comfort of knowing I was doing what was expected of me. I pushed forward into that relationship, believing that commitment alone would create the magic I felt with you. But it didn't. The connection I share with her is steady. Yes, it's polite. It's functional. But it isn't electric. It isn't soul deep. It doesn't feel like coming home. There's no unspoken understanding, no silent current of emotion flowing between us. When I look into her eyes, I see kindness, but I don't see the reflection of my own spirit the way I do when I look at you. With you, it was different from the beginning. There was a depth I couldn't explain, a familiarity that felt ancient and immediate at the same time. Conversations with you weren't just exchanges of words, they were revelations. You made my heart feel alive in a way I can't replicate. You challenged me, inspired me, softened me, and no matter how much time passed, that feeling never fully disappeared. Now I'm faced with a painful truth. I don't want to marry her. Writing those words feels both terrifying and liberating. The thought of spending a lifetime in a relationship that doesn't light up my soul feels suffocating. Marriage is not just a ceremony or a contract. It's a promise to wake up next to someone every day and choose them again and again. How can I make that promise when my heart is somewhere else? I made a mistake. I chose a path that led me away from my own truth. And now I have to face the consequences of that choice. It's not easy to admit. It bruises my pride and forces me to confront my own fear and stubbornness. But I can't keep pretending. Right now, I feel caught between the commitment I made and the call of my heart. Breaking off this engagement would cause pain. It would create shockwaves in both families. It would invite judgment, gossip, and disappointment. People would question my character. They would say I led her on. They would say I wasted her time. And maybe, in some ways, they'd be right. The thought of sitting her down and telling her I can't go through with the marriage fills me with dread. I imagine the tears, the anger, the confusion. I wonder if she'll ever forgive me. I hope she'll one day understand that this isn't about her not being enough. It's about me not being honest with myself soon enough. And then there's you. I don't want you to feel like a second choice, like someone I returned to only after things fell apart. The truth is, you were never second. You were the standard. You were the measure my heart used, even when I tried to convince myself otherwise. I walked away from you not because what we had was weak, but because it was overwhelming. It felt too big, too consuming, too real. Now, I realize that what I ran from was exactly what I needed. I've wrestled with questions about morality and fate. Is it wrong to break a promise if keeping it means living a lie? Does God value the appearance of commitment more than the honesty of the heart? I don't claim to have all the answers, but I believe that truth matters. I believe that living authentically, even when it's messy and painful, is closer to righteousness than pretending. There's a small glimmer of comfort in knowing that I'm finally being honest with you, with her, and with myself. It's vulnerable. It's terrifying. It feels like stepping off a cliff without knowing if there's ground beneath me. But it also feels real. You might think I'm letting emotions cloud my judgment. Maybe I am. But this isn't a fleeting impulse. This isn't nostalgia dressed up as destiny. This is a steady, persistent knowing that refuses to fade. It's the realization that no matter how far I walk, my heart keeps circling back to you. I'm not expecting you to immediately welcome me back with open arms. I know I hurt you once. I know trust isn't something that can be rebuilt with a single confession. All I ask is that you see the complexity of what I'm facing. That you understand this isn't about chaos or drama. It's about alignment. It's about choosing a life that feels true. This journey ahead won't be easy. There will be difficult conversations, broken expectations, and uncertain days. But I believe that some choices, no matter how painful, are necessary. I believe love, real, soul-deep love, is worth fighting for. I believe honesty, even when it disrupts everything, creates space for something better to grow. Whatever happens next, please know my intentions are pure. I'm not trying to create destruction. I'm trying to correct a course I veered off of out of fear. I'm trying to return to the truth that has quietly lived in me all along. My heart has always known where it belongs. I just needed the courage to admit it. With all my love. Your name